probably help if I had the headphones on. Ah, I knew something was missing. All right. Before we get into more inconsiderate people, this is the new camera. Now, the strange thing is, it's identical to this camera. Same make, same model. Matter of fact, same year production, okay? When this camera lights up, in the corners right here are two blue lights to let me know that the camera's on. On the new camera that I got today from my buddy, these lights are white. I have no idea why one lights up blue and one lights up white. But this camera appears to have just a tad more sharpness, because this background was not what I would call 100% in focus. And if the volume is too loud, I apologize, because as I was mounting the camera into its proper holder, I might have hit some of the controls. Now, if you saw the other day, this top of the camera, there was a stem. Let's see if I might be able to. I have various camera arms. Okay. There was this stem, and it's screwed into the top of the microphone. So the microphone was hanging by this stem. Anytime I bumped the arm, you would hear it. Let me get this back underneath here. This is now in a shock mount. You see these zigzag elastic coils? This is a shock mount to, if I bump something, it will absorb, not 100% absorb, but this is the proper mounting. And then you see it mounts into the camera, into the arm itself. So, as a matter of fact, I couldn't believe it when I opened the box. My buddy actually sent a shock mount for the hot mic. See, it's in a shock absorbing, and then this mounts. It would mount here, which I thought that was cool. You can still, when I'm talking, you'll still see the red microphone, but now it's in its own shock mount. It just screws onto the back here. Thought that was cool. When I opened the box, I was like, holy shit. So he sent me, why don't I have it over here? Let me go get the other one. Hold on. Little pause, and Let me get the other one. I got to go over into Studio A. All right. He couldn't find. Remember, I told you he was going to send me an RGB, red, green, blue. He couldn't find it. He says he's got it somewhere because he's like me. He had microphones and arms and lights. This is another Blue Yeti mic. And this is in what they call the satin silver. So I have a backup, which that would mount in here. See, there's the threaded mount. So it would either go on that stem or it would go into the shock mount. And then the audio wire and the headphone. And then you have the, this is the mute button. And then this is the sound volume control for the headphones. And then on the back, you have the gain control for the audio of the microphone, and then you have the adjustments for the 3 different heads inside the mic. So you have like I've got this one adjusted. It would be 1 where you're talking directly, and then you have adjustment 2, which is like 2 people sitting across from one another. And then you have 3, which would be like if you had a group of people sitting here, and then 4 if you were sitting in an auditorium, and it would basically pick up as long as like people were close to the stage, it would pick them up. And it's all built in to these microphones. These do not go through a mixer. Now, you can run them through a mixer, but there's no real reason. The only reason that you would put this through a mixer is if you wanted to adjust the low, mid range, or high range, like treble, bass, and mid range of the voices. But otherwise, there's no real reason. That's why these have become so popular with YouTubers and bloggers, because basically, if you had like a little mini, like this goofball here, I got to try this one. This is the next mic we're going to experiment with. Watch me demolish everything here. Let me put the other Yeti down here. I give you had it mounted on this little tripod. This is the next. They call this the blue snowball. It's a snowball mic, and from what I can determine, it's got pickups front and rear, but there's no adjustments. There's no volume adjustment, no gain. So we'll try this one tomorrow. All right, back on the shelf. Back on the shelf. Don't be falling off. I can't. Yeah. I can't complain that he sent me another. These aren't cheap. These are expensive microphones, and like you say, they're basically made for somebody on the go. Because you would take this mic, and if it was on that little tripod, flip open your laptop, plug it in, and you're all set. It's amazing. Back in the day, you had to go through a mixer, and if you were working from a desktop, you had to go through an interface where with these, and Blue isn't the only one, to make. There's a whole variety of these amplified microphones out on the market now. But like I say, if somebody, say they're traveling across the United States and they're blogging their trip, all they would have to do is like set their laptop on the. You even probably could do it with a tablet because uh, well, your tablet would have to have a USB A plug. But I mean, well, not even that. They make what they call the Blue Yeti Nano. It's about half this size, and it's more made for people on the go. But if you were traveling, say you got to Grand Canyon, you're in the parking lot, and you flip your laptop open and plug in this microphone and get on YouTube or ChatSnap, instant graham crackers, and you're on the air. So I appreciate it because now, I've got, what have I got? Six, seven, maybe 10 microphones. I have to look because I bought microphones over the years, but the older ones you have to run through a mixer. But I mean, the grumpy old man could take his laptop out in the crappy Nissan and do a broadcast from the middle of a parking lot. Now, I got the studio light. I'm going to click it on, and we're going to see. Right now, I've got it setting in this direction, so that's a little too bright. Little too bright. See, we have to. Yeah, that's brighter yet. Let's kick it down, kick it down, kick it down. Don't want to kick down. It's supposed to have a kick down mode. Yep, it's getting brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. Yikes. Now we just shut it off. All right. We're supposed to have a soft. I guess that's about as soft as we can get it. So I'll probably end up putting it on a tripod so that it comes down more from the top. but not bad, not bad. Let's adjust it down a little bit. Not bad. I kind of like it. Not bad. It's got from what the now this is brand new. He never even used this. It was just sealed in the box. Uh, just briefly reading the instructions, it's got if you run it on high, you get 3 hours. If you run it on low, like it is here, 16 hours before you would have to charge it. And you just plug it into a USB C and into a charger. Not bad at all. Who invited you? My buddy come in here. I don't know if I can pick him up. He don't like to be picked up. Where are you? Come here. I got to take the Velcro off of this. It's got a little piece of Velcro on this stupid mic cord, headphone cord. Where are you? Where are you, fatso? He's camera shy. I guess he left. Are you under the desk? No. I guess he left. All right. Until I get this light set, I'm gonna kill it. Because I got this stupid light here. All right. Let's get this out of the way again. I have to I just kind of put things together kind of quick like here today, just so I could do some experimenting. All right. Part 3, Inconsiderate People. I had to run up the marks again today. Now, you know what I'm talking about, the one at 136th and Lorraine. And as I got out of the truck, cart jam. Too deep, all the way across. So, I start moving carts out of the way. And I don't hesitate to bitch. And people that are standing around watching, the dumb idiot, I was like, all right, people, watch this. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 4 carts, 4 seconds. What did it take to be considerate and move the damn things out of the way? So I move all 8 carts out of the way. There was a woman standing with her cart waiting for someone to pick up her groceries. So the car pulls up and the trunk opens and she takes the cart while I'm standing there because there were people, basically waiting for somebody to unjam all the carts so that they could get out of the store. And she takes the cart, and now there's stanchions, there's pipes in the ground so that you cannot take the cart into the parking lot. and they're spaced out just enough where like 3/4 of the cart goes in and then the cart stops. She takes the cart and jams the son of a bitch in between two of the stanchions. And I mean, this was no accident. This was a deliberate. She jammed the son of a bitch. And then, of course, loads her groceries, closes the trunk, gets in the car. And as she gets in the car, she got a kind of a smirk on her face. Well, I'll tell you what, it was tough getting that. I mean, she jammed that goddamn cart full force. How ignorant. Did did you have to prove a point? Well, probably because I was proving a point. But just total goddamn ignorance. And on the way up there, we'll talk ignorant. There was a woman in a, what the hell is that, Honda Ridgeline, the Honda pickup truck. And I just happened to be following, she was taking the same route up the marks that I was. And we come up West Avenue, and she goes to make the right turn on 135th, and she makes the right turn. And then we get up to San Diego, and she makes the left, goes down San Diego like I do to 136 and makes the right, goes up to Marks, makes the left into the parking lot. Now, I'm behind her, and I'm not following her. I mean, she just happened to be taking the same damn route that I do all the time. And she parked next to me, okay? Because for some reason, when she pulled in the parking lot, she stopped. I don't know why. So I parked, and then she come in on the right side of me. So I'm looking at her truck. Just doing this, looking at, and she says, "Is something wrong?" I says, "Oh no, not at all." I says, "I'm admiring your Honda Ridgeline." Let me close this door. So she's, like, "Oh, thank you very much." I says, "It's too bad you had to get the standard version. You couldn't get the deluxe." And she kind of did one of these, and she says, "It's got every option on it." I said, "No, no, unfortunately, you got the base model." And she says, "No, it's got every option on it. I really didn't want all them options, but I like the color." I says, "Well, no, unfortunately, you're missing an option." And she says, "What's that?" I says, "It didn't come with any turn signals." She says, "Oh, yeah, there's a turn signal lever." And she opens the door and she points to it. I says, "Oh, it does have a turn signal lever." She says, "Yeah, yeah." I says, "Then why don't you goddamn use it?" I says, "You're making turns. Is it is it going to break your finger to click that lever down? Show a little consideration for the people following you?" Well, of course, the grumpy old man got. He was, yeah, yeah. She said, "Grumpy, you're number one in my book." I don't know how many people I get behind when I'm out, and they don't know what that goddamn lever on the the left side of the steering column is for. And I think basically, if more police departments would cite for not using a turn signal, people would start to frickin' wake up. Because there's nothing more ignorant than all of a sudden you put your brakes on and you make a turn. Well, if I ascend this person, it's my fault. The old assured clear distance. Well, the reason I might ascend you is because you're too goddamn ignorant to use your frickin' turn signal. We've had turn signals on cars since the 50s. When you take driver's ed or you learn to drive, the first thing that's drummed into your goddamn head is use your turn signals. And then all of a sudden, you get that little card from the state and you fucking forget. Ignorant. And then, the ignorance just continues on because I'm in the store shopping. And there was a guy in front of me, he had a cart full of stuff going down the aisle. And he stopped and he reached into his cart. Now we're in the cereal aisle, okay? We're in the cereal aisle. He reaches in his cart and he takes out a bag of grapes. Now, the fruit and vegetable aisle is 2 aisles over. Evidently, he decided he didn't want the fucking grapes. So he puts them on the shelf where there was a space where there were a couple of cereal boxes missing. How goddamn lazy can we get? We decide we don't want these grapes. So instead of taking them back to produce and putting them in the cooler, we put them on the goddamn shelf in the cereal aisle. Well, I waited until he made the turn and went down to another aisle. And I picked up the grapes and I went over to produce and I put them back in the cooler section where they belonged. Took me like maybe 30 seconds. So then he just happened to be in the pet food aisle when I entered the pet food aisle because I had to get fat ass Boots some more cat food. And then it pissed me off because they were out of the dry food. They said, well, it's back in the warehouse, but we haven't brought it out yet. So I got to go back tomorrow. But he's got enough dry food to get him through tonight. So he's looking at dog food and I'm looking at cat food. Dog food's on the right side. I'm on the left side if you're. I happen to glance him over. And he's looking at cans of dog food. I get my cans of cat food. He has now exited the aisle. In the empty space where he had taken some cans of cat food is a bag of mixed peppers, red peppers, yellow, green. Another produce item he decided he didn't fucking want. So what does Grumpy do? He grabs the peppers. Takes me like maybe 2 minutes because the cat food aisle is at the end of the store. Back to the produce department. Now, mind you, one of the produce workers sees me put the peppers back. He even saw me put the grapes back. And he says, "You decided you didn't want produce today?" And I said, "No, this isn't even mine." I says, "There was a guy that I happened to be behind in the store. He decided he didn't want his fucking grapes. Then he puts it in the cereal aisle." And I said, "I'm in the pet food aisle." And he puts his peppers. The kid says, You would be amazed where we find produce all over the store because people will do that. They'll decide they don't want it. And instead of taking it back, they deposit it wherever. Now we're going to talk about when I get home. I am very OCD about dishes in the sink. I make sure there's nothing in the sink. Now, there could be a possibility where I have my plate from when I ate dinner and a knife and a fork, but I mean, we're not talking a whole dish pan full of shit. Well, and everybody knows, my 38-year-old son lives with me. Now, I'm grumpy 72. Okay, that's who I am. I'm the grumpy old man. As in, I go out and get my coffee. Now, mind you, I have what was in the sink: a coffee cup and some silverware. My coffee cup from last night because I drink coffee all day, and I washed the plate that I used because I just had sandwiches. The sink is full of dishes. Dale decides he's going to bring down the whole shitload that he had in his bedroom because he thinks I enjoy washing dishes. And then there's pans that he used for cooking. And this is what I put up with. And we get into the constant argument about laundry. And I've gotten to the point where I'm gonna put the washer and dryer under lock and key because Dale's idea is instead of doing 2 or 3 loads, we jam 50 pounds of laundry in the washer and we don't space it around. So when it goes in to spin, it sounds like an earthquake in the basement, like a landslide. The washers banging back and forth and banging back and forth. And then when the laundry is done, we take this 50 pounds and we jam it in the dryer. Okay. Now we run the dryer for an hour. Now, you and I know 50 pounds of shit in the dryer, it ain't going to be dry. So we run it for another hour. And this goes on for several hours. Instead of splitting the load, we think that the longer we run the dryer, it's finally going to dry everything. I'm tired of arguing and fighting. I wish somebody would instruct him how to do laundry that he would fucking listen to, because he don't listen to me. I get this shit, I'm almost 40 years old. I know what I'm doing. Well, obviously you don't fucking know what you're doing, because he's already destroyed 3 washers and 2 dryers. I can't afford to replace these. But I'm almost 40 years old. I know what I'm fucking doing, Dad. You're an asshole. So, this is what I put up with. Before I make my dinner, I got a sink full of shit to wash. You know, the maid has to go, do her job here. And this is not just today. This is constant. I fucking give up. I'm getting to it. All I do is aggravate my medical condition, fucking arguing with him, because that is stupid. I read a neat little quip the other day that said, uh, it's obvious that speech doesn't follow the speed of light, because when you tell an 18-year-old what they're doing wrong, it doesn't reach their brain until they're 40. Yeah, speed of sound, not speed of light. I give up. And I've rambled on for almost 45 minutes. So I better get off here, because the maid's got a sink full of dishes to wash before the maid makes dinner. And with that, have a good evening, boys and girls. These hands aren't afraid of dishwater. Evidently, he's got dainty hands that might shrivel up and fall off if he puts them in dishwater. So I got to go do my maid work. Have a good evening, boys and girls. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Maybe we'll play with the snowball mic tomorrow and see what it sounds like. Take care. Bye bye. If we can bye bye here. Come on, bye bye.